It amazes me that to convince black people that Donald Trump cares about them, he takes pictures with celebrities. It's amazing to me. If Donald Trump cared about black people, he wouldn't have denigrated the president with those claims of birtherism.
But part of that is starting off with Snoop Dogg and Nelly and Soulja Boy and others for their decisions to perform at events surrounding the inauguration.
DL Hughley just blew up the internet calling out Snoop Dogg. And this time, he's not cracking jokes, he's dropping bombs. He's exposing what he calls the real Snoop, and the web's going crazy over it. It all started when DL reposted that old 2017 clip where Snoop roasted black artists for performing at Donald Trump's inauguration. Back then, Snoop didn't hold back, mocking them with, "Which one of you Uncle Tom ninjas gonna do it?" That was classic, unfiltered Snoop. Rebellious, outspoken, and bold as ever. But now it's 2025, and guess who just hit the stage at a Trump event? Yup, Snoop himself, standing side by side with Nelly and Rick Ross like it's all love. The internet lit up instantly. That same energy Snoop once threw at others, oh, it's coming right back at him hard. Fans flooded the comments calling him a sellout and a buster, saying he folded for clout and cash. Some even joked that Snoop puffed up his chest and said, "Yes, sir, I'll dance for you, sir." It was savage. People are shocked. One of hip-hop's most respected icons, the man who built his legacy on rebellion and loyalty to the streets, is now catching heat for doing the very thing he once dragged others for. DL made sure the world saw that clip, and the timing couldn't have been worse. The internet's in flames, and Snoop's reputation might be next. Why are you even doing that, Snoop? That's what fans are screaming online right now. Like, what business does he have performing for someone whose crowd doesn't even vibe with rap? And the timing couldn't be worse. Snoop's already drowning in controversy, rumors linking him to Diddy's messy empire, whispers that he's been playing for both teams, and even crazier talk that he's been slipping info to the feds. It's chaos. Then, out of nowhere, Suge Knight jumps back into the mix, stirring it up even more. Suge's just called Snoop the real industry rat, and the internet lost it. The man behind death row isn't new to throwing bombs, but this time people are actually listening. Suge's been hinting for years that Snoop's loyalty to Tupac wasn't what it seemed. He even claimed Snoop lied about visiting Pac in the hospital after the Vegas shooting, saying that whole "I got kicked out trying to see Pac" story, pure cap. Suge insists Snoop never even showed up. And when Suge Knight, the one who built Death Row from the ground up, starts saying that, the streets pay attention. Now throw in these new Trump headlines and Snoop's entire image is hanging by a thread.
Most important thing is there's got to be a solution, because this has been going on in the industry for a whole years, for decades. And at the same time, you know, nobody wants this to be true, and it shouldn't have to be true. But if we don't fix it and do something about it, history will constantly
repeat itself. Now, Suge, you said something early on that I want to get clarification for the audience. Suge, you said early on, you can't just look at Diddy in isolation. You said this was done to him. He learned from others, and it was done to him, and then he did to others. To me, that sounds like what I hear when people are talking about situations, you know, hurt people, that someone was used, they wind up being a perpetrator. Is that what you're suggesting about Sean Combs, that he was used and he now uses?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think he repeat what was done to him. And like I said, if you look at Russell Simmons, you know the truth. Andre Rail, you know the truth. Clyde Davis, you know the truth. Jimmy Iovine, you know the truth. So there's not certain things that all of a sudden you got this. The industry is a quick business. It's been like that for a long time. And the casting couch is real, but it's for women and men. But far from all that, I think the most important thing is I feel like they should let Puffy tell his truth. I'm quite sure he's going to expose a lot of people. I'm sure he's going to move forward with it. But I don't think it should be a situation like the Epstein thing where they found him hanging from the ceiling or dead before the truth come out.
His credibility's getting stomped on, and folks are starting to question if the dog father we grew up respecting was ever really who we thought he was. Snoop's cool uncle of hip-hop image is falling apart, and DL Hughley's making sure the cracks are visible for the whole world to see. The second Snoop, Nelly, and Rick Ross showed up at that Trump event. The internet went wild. Fans felt betrayed, saying it was a slap in the face to everything hip-hop's ever stood for. The same Snoop who once said, "Which one of you Uncle Tom's gonna do it first?" is now the one standing on that stage. The irony's crazy, But Nelly wasn't about to let the backlash slide. He jumped online and defended himself in a chat with Willie D, saying, "I'm not doing this for the money. It's an honor. I respect the office." Period. Nelly even claimed he'd perform for Biden or Kamala Harris if they asked, basically saying it's business, not politics. Still, DL Hughley wasn't having none of that. He went on Instagram and came swinging hard, writing, "Trump propping up white supremacy isn't just his past, Nelly. It's who he still is today." He didn't stop there either. DL reposted that old 2017 video of Snoop mocking anyone who'd performed for Trump, letting the contradiction speak for itself. No words needed. The message hit loud and clear. DL was calling out hypocrisy, and the internet was right there with him. And it's not like this is new for DL. He's been standing on this since day one. Back in 2017, when Steve Harvey and Ben Carson met with Trump, DL tore into them too, saying, "It amazes me that to convince black people Trump cares, he takes pictures with celebrities he's been consistent. And this time, he's doubling down harder than ever."
And I knew that Pac did everything right by him by putting him on All Eyes on Me, speaking about him and being real with him. And if it's true what they say,
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Face to face is going to be a lot of explaining to do. Only way you have a radio if you was at the fight with us and you had a security detail. Now, not having a security detail, what are you doing with the radio?
DL didn't hold back. He hit them with facts and fire. He said if Trump really cared about black people, he wouldn't have pushed those racist birther lies about Obama or used rappers and athletes like props on a political stage. DL made it crystal clear. Trump doesn't see black artists as equals, just entertainment to hype up his image. Then DL dropped the line that had everybody nodding. They'd rather see us run the ball than run the country.
Nah, chill. I'm not performing. I am in Washington, D.C. right now, but I'm not performing. It's a private vibe I'm doing with my brother Snoop Dogg.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the dope, ready to make an entrance.
That one hit deep. So when DL saw Snoop, Nelly, and Rick Ross performing for Trump years later, he couldn't stay silent. In his eyes, this wasn't just business. It was a move that played right into the system. Another example of how power flips the narrative when money's involved. But what really sent chills down fans' spines was DL's theory about why Trump wanted Snoop there in the first place. According to him, it was all about control, a flex to show that Trump could make one of his loudest critics switch sides.
But I am honored to be performing for the office, for the president of the United States, regardless. Ain't none other president asked me to perform. Name.
And honestly, it's hard to say he's wrong. DL pointed out that Trump didn't bring back Waka Flocka, Kodak Black, or Lil Pump this time. Those rappers already played their roles when Trump needed wild, headline-grabbing names. But Snoop Dogg, he's different. His name carries global weight, mainstream respect, credibility that reaches beyond hip-hop, and a level of influence politicians drool over. That's exactly why DL thinks Trump's team went for him, not randomly, but strategically. And guess what? It worked. The internet had no mercy. Memes, edits, and ruthless jokes flooded every platform. People clowning Snoop like never before. It turned from a performance into a full-blown digital roast, and Snoop's reputation, it's shaking right now. The internet went savage on this one. One user even quoted DMX saying,
"So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo is gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast one of you Uncle Tom for doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first?"
They sold their souls to the devil, and the price was cheap. Another fan wrote, after Snoop's Olympic moment, he thought he was untouchable. Guess not. That line alone went viral, and people didn't stop there. Some started accusing Snoop of being an informant, pointing out how he's suddenly everywhere. Commercials, the Olympics, random product deals, like he's got a pass nobody else can get. Then came the comment that had everyone quiet for a second. When you get enough money, you'll excuse anything you do wrong. But money can't erase history. That one hit like a punch to the chest. Folks are clearly done with the celebrity double standards. Fame no longer shields anyone. No matter how iconic Snoop's career has been, 2025's fans don't forget anything. Now the question that's splitting the culture.
Say, man, you playing to win tonight, man. You sharp as a mosquito. What's going down? That's that crypto, see? They let a real crip up in the crypto ball. Ooh. Bang, bang.
Did Snoop, Nelly, and Ross just fumble their legacy for a paycheck, or was it truly just business? The debate's on fire. Half the fans are screaming betrayal, saying these men disrespected the same culture that made them. The other half is brushing it off like, it's politics, who cares? But But either way, there's no denying, Snoop's reputation just took one of its hardest hits yet. From Suge Knight's explosive accusations to DL Hughley's Instagram takedown, this feels like the public unraveling of a hip-hop icon. And if those wild playing both sides rumors keep spreading, this story's nowhere near done. The pressure's building, and every single move Snoop makes now gets picked apart like never before. What started as a performance controversy has turned into a full-blown cultural earthquake. DL Hughley's post didn't just call out hypocrisy, it cracked open a vault of long-buried whispers and shady rumors that people had been holding back for years. Suddenly, everything about Snoop, his past statements, his friendships, even his squeaky clean Hollywood image, is under a harsh spotlight. Fans everywhere are now asking, who's Snoop really loyal to? The streets, the culture, or whoever's got the fattest paycheck? The doubt is real, and when you look back, Snoop's rise has always been complicated. During those death row days, he was the voice of the West Coast, the smooth-talking gangster who stood tall for the streets. But now, Suge Knight's latest words are hitting deep. From behind bars, Suge's been saying Snoop's been playing both sides since the jump. That while Tupac was out there risking it all, Snoop kept himself safe, shaking hands with both camps and staying quiet when things got heavy. It didn't stop there. Suge even claimed Snoop's been hiding major secrets about what really went down between Pac and Death Row before that Vegas night. And the line that had everyone talking, Suge allegedly said, "Snoop ain't who y'all think he is. He's been the industry's biggest rat since the 90s. Those are brutal accusations coming from a man who lived it firsthand, and it's got fans side-eyeing everything Snoop does now. Then there's his new Hollywood uncle persona. Commercials, Olympic cameos, kids' shows, cooking with Martha Stewart, like he's the ultimate family-friendly icon. But not everyone's buying that transformation. For those who remember the Death Row era, it feels off, like he swapped gangsta for gloss overnight. Social media's digging deep, pulling receipts, asking, how'd Snoop go from Crip rapper to corporate mascot? The vibe's tense, and people are questioning whether Snoop Dogg's reinvention was growth or just a strategy to stay protected and paid. Then the internet started connecting dots like detectives on a mission. People began whispering, maybe that's why Snoop's been untouchable all these years, because he's protected by more than just fame. Once that theory of him being an industry informant hit social media, it exploded. Fans started digging up old clips, news stories, and receipts. Every moment, Snoop somehow dodged the heat while everyone around him took the fall. Just look at the history. During the wildest death row days, everybody got caught up. Pac gone, Suge locked up, Dre dipped out. But Snoop, he slid out untouched and just kept stacking wins. Some folks call that smart business. Others swear it smells like something way deeper. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. Notice how Snoop never really gets touched, never canceled, never dragged for long? That ain't luck. And that line has social media losing its mind. Whether there's truth behind it or not, perception is everything. Man, right now, the way people see Snoop is shifting fast. DL Hughley's criticism didn't just call out a performance, it poured gasoline on years of quiet suspicions. His message wasn't about politics, it was about principles. For DL, it's not about who you perform for, it's about what message you send while doing it, especially when you once claimed you'd never cross that line. DL basically said Snoop's performance wasn't just bad optics, it was betrayal. Betrayal to the streets, to hip-hop, and to everything Snoop once stood for. And that hit people hard. He wasn't afraid to call out the contradiction. The gap between Snoop's gangster roots and this new, politically soft image. That clash struck a nerve in today's culture, where fans demand authenticity more than ever. Now everyone's wondering, has Snoop gone corporate for good, or is the Dogfather just playing his cards smarter than the rest? Social media hasn't stopped buzzing for a second. It's like the entire internet's on fire over this. Some fans say Snoop's just trying to stay relevant in an industry that moves lightning fast, while others believe this runs way deeper, that it's all about power moves behind the scenes. Even Nelly's defense didn't help him out. When he said, "I respect the office," fans instantly clowned him online, saying that was just code for, "I got paid." And Rick Ross, he tried to stay silent, thinking it'd blow over. But the internet doesn't do mercy. One tweet went viral saying, "Ross went from hustling to hustling for Trump," and that line alone had thousands of retweets. The streets were not feeling it. Meanwhile, the OG hip-hop heads, the ones who lived through the raw 90s era, came out heavy in the comments, saying this whole thing shows just how much the culture's changed. Back in the day, rappers stood for something. They risked their careers to speak truth to power. But now, some fans say the new generation's too comfortable, watching the same legends who once shouted, "Fight the system," now flip the script for a check. One YouTube commenter went viral saying, "We watched Snoop go from F the police to let me get that corporate check. That's not evolution, that's erosion." Harsh words, but a lot of people agree. agreed. Still, not everyone's dragging him. Some argued that it's unfair to expect artists to stay militant forever. Maybe Snoop's just adapting to survive in a world that's changed. One post even said, "The world moved on, why shouldn't he?" But DL Hughley's message keeps echoing through all the noise. You can't clown others for selling out, then turn around and do the same thing years later. That's what stings the most. It's not just about politics or a performance. It's about integrity, and the internet never forgets. That was the line that really broke through. And with Snoop's name already tangled in Diddy's ongoing scandals, fans instantly started connecting the dots. The Diddy investigation has everyone paranoid, wondering who's really tied to who behind the scenes. And Snoop's sudden coziness with political figures just threw more gas on the fire. Some say he's staying close to power to protect himself. Others claim it's just another business play, but one thing's clear. Every new headline adds another layer to Snoop's mystery. Then came the conspiracy wave, and it hit hard. That Snoop plays for both teams theory started spreading like wildfire again. And it wasn't just random internet trolls this time. Real industry insiders started talking. One former producer even said during an interview, "You never really know who's who in this game. Some of the ones y'all think are the realists been playing chess while the rest playing checkers." Fans instantly took that as a slick shot aimed straight at Snoop. Now, every time something shady happens in the entertainment world, Snoop's name gets thrown in the mix. The man can't even post a photo without somebody saying he's connected to it. It's gotten wild. People don't even know what to believe anymore. But through it all, Snoop's keeping quiet. Just a few cryptic posts here and there, usually jokes or subtle shade, nothing serious. Some fans think he's brushing it off like it's all noise. Others say he's just too big to care. But silence can be dangerous, especially when people are already questioning your loyalty. The longer he keeps his mouth shut, the louder the whispers get. The same man who once called himself the voice of the streets is now watching those very streets start to turn their backs on him. In this digital era, public opinion hits harder than any diss track, and Snoop's feeling that heat in real time. What's crazy is that this isn't just about one performance anymore, it's about legacy. When your whole career is built on authenticity and keeping it real, one wrong move can flip the entire story upside down. Right now, Snoop Dogg's facing the biggest image crisis of his life, and the irony's wild. This is the same man who taught everyone else how to move smart in the game, yet it's starting to look like he's the one getting played. At this point, the Snoop Dogg saga has gone way past social media gossip. It's turned into a full-blown culture debate about trust, loyalty, and what it really means to represent hip-hop. Every single day, new clips, interviews, and memes pop up dragging his name right back into the spotlight. And while some fans are still riding for him, saying he's just playing chess while everyone else plays checkers, others feel flat out betrayed, like their favorite uncle just switched sides live on TV and didn't even blink. The truth? Snoop's built a brand that once felt bulletproof, but lately, that armor's cracking. When you've had a career this long, every old quote, every past contradiction, every shady moment starts creeping back up like ghosts you can't shake off. DL Hughley didn't just call Snoop out for being a hypocrite. He hit a nerve that's been pulsing through hip-hop for years. That fine line between keeping it real and selling out, and Snoop just found himself walking it under a microscope. When DL said Snoop performing for Trump was a flex move, basically Trump proving he could make a man who once mocked him stand beside him. That struck deep. It wasn't just shade, it was a mirror held up to the whole culture. People couldn't shake the feeling that Snoop looked like a pawn in someone else's political game. One viral tweet nailed it perfectly, saying, "Trump didn't need your bars, Snoop, he needed your face." That's the flex, and honestly, that line summed it all up. It's exactly what DL Hughley had been warning about, how powerful people use celebrity faces to push their own agendas, turning icons into symbols for something way bigger than music. But here's where things really twisted. DL's call-out cracked open a vault of old industry secrets that fans can't stop digging through. Suddenly, people started connecting dots between Snoop's current mess, Diddy's ongoing investigation, and Suge Knight's bombshell interviews from prison. It's like all those rumors and side comments from years ago are starting to sound a little too real. Fans are literally saying, wait, has this been right in front of us the whole time? Some even circled back to the most haunting claim of all, that Snoop knew more about Tupac's death than he ever admitted. They pointed to that story he told about getting kicked out of the hospital after Pac was shot, calling it all a sympathy play. Suge Knight himself said it straight from behind bars. He never came to the hospital. That story's fake, and when Suge speaks, even from a cell, hip-hop listens. What's wild is how fast things flipped. Just a few months ago, Snoop was everywhere, smiling on TV, lighting up the Olympics, locking in brand deals, and showing up in movies like the world's favorite uncle. But now, fans are side-eyeing everything. Even harmless commercials are getting dragged under viral clips with comments like, they really turned Snoop into a mascot. That's the fall nobody saw coming. One minute you're the face of culture, the next, you're the face of controversy. The jokes kept rolling in. One viral comment said, "Snoop's on every product but loyalty." That line alone set the internet ablaze. You could tell this controversy hit him where it really hurts. Not in his wallet, but in his reputation. Because no matter how rich you get, money can't buy street respect. And once that slips away, it's almost impossible to earn it back. Still, some fans are pushing back, saying it's unfair. They remind everyone that Snoop's been carrying the West Coast for decades, building bridges when everyone else was burning them. One supporter wrote, "Y'all mad he got a bag from Trump, but you weren't mad when he was cashing checks from Hollywood." That right there sparked a whole new argument. The business side of the story. Snoop's one of the few rappers from his era who's still running the mainstream today. Movies, TV, ads, even the Olympics. He's built an empire most rappers only dream of, and that kind of success comes with choices that street artists never have to face. Maybe he's not switching sides, maybe he's just surviving in a game where you either play it or get played. But even if that's true, perception beats logic every time. In today's world, one bad look online and the culture will cancel you before you can even explain. And with DL Hughley reposting that old 2017 clip, fans had all the ammo they needed to drag Snoop through the mud. The irony stings hard. The same man who once asked, "Which one of you Uncle Tom Ninja's gonna perform for Trump?" ended up being the headline act years later. The energy he threw out came back at him tenfold. One viral TikTok summed it up perfectly. That's not karma, that's full circle humiliation. And as the backlash kept spreading, even celebrities started reacting. Some quietly unfollowing, others liking shady posts, all while pretending they weren't watching the chaos unfold. Some people started backing away fast, while others stepped up to defend him, but even Snoop's biggest supporters had to admit this one was a bad look. One longtime industry insider said it straight. There's just certain lines you don't cross. When you represent the culture and perform for Trump after clowning others for it, that's one of them. That quote hit hard because it came from someone who's been in the game long enough to know where the real boundaries lie. Still, not everyone's ready to throw Snoop under the bus completely. There's this vibe that people don't actually want to cancel him. They just want him to own up. They want that simple acknowledgement, that moment where he admits, yeah, maybe this move didn't line up with what he preached before. A small apology or explanation could cool things down instantly, but instead, he's staying silent. Maybe he's hoping the noise fades on its own, but in today's internet age, silence doesn't equal peace. It equals speculation. The truth is, hip-hop's in the middle of a transformation. The new generation's watching everything the OGs do, and moments like this shape how young artists view success, loyalty, and authenticity. Because if Snoop Dogg, the man who came from Long Beach, repped Death Row, and turned gin and juice into an anthem, can get called out for switching up, then nobody's untouchable. It's a reality check, a reminder that your words never disappear and your past never truly fades. That's why DL Hughley's post hit deeper than gossip. It was a cultural moment. It reminded everyone that even legends can slip when they forget what made them real in the first place. Now the big question hanging in the air, will Snoop finally speak up and clear the air? Or will he just keep letting the internet run wild while his legacy takes the hits? Because if he stays quiet, the rumors are only gonna grow louder. The same fans who once called him Uncle Snoop are now asking if that image was ever real. One viral comment said it best: "We love Snoop for being one of us, not one of them." But now he's standing next to them, and we don't know what that means anymore. That hit deep, because this time, the disappointment isn't something you can just laugh off on Instagram. The smoke everyone's seeing right now, it ain't from his blunt, it's from the backlash. And no matter how this plays out, one thing's for sure. This saga has officially changed how people see Snoop Dogg. His legend might still shine bright, but his loyalty is under question like never before. DL Hughley didn't just call him out. He cracked open a whole new conversation about what it really means to stand on your word when fame and politics collide. Suddenly, it's not just about a performance anymore. It's about integrity, consistency, and what you represent when the cameras stop rolling. So, what do you think? Did Snoop, Nelly, and Rick Ross take it too far by performing for Trump? Or was it all just business? Another power move in a game that never sleeps. Either way, this one's got the whole culture split down the middle. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate is far from over. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and join the convo if you want more real talk and deep dives into hip-hop's wildest stories. Because trust me, this story's not done yet, and the next one might be even crazier.